What's up, guys, and welcome back to Adventures in Guitarland, where I teach you how to play guitar by playing a role-playing game. Today, we're going to cover how to practice a chord. Sitting there for a while, and I was like, everybody's always like, hey, practice this chord, learn these chords. They don't tell you how to learn them. So I'm going to go over that with some chords that I'm relearning today. Before we get into that, go ahead and mash that like, subscribe, and bell icon so you're notified whenever I come out with new content. Additionally, leave me a comment down below on some chords that you're having issues with, and I'll see if I can throw them into a future video. But for now, let's get into it. So, how do you go about teaching your fingers how to know where to go for a chord? Well, I have two chords that I'm working on right now. I'm working on learning how to finger them more properly without a bar. And by a bar, I mean without barring one finger across multiple strings. So I have my root 5 minor 7th and my root 6 dominant 7th. Now, these are very, very jazzy chords. I'm not trying to teach you these chords right now, but these shapes are up there and up there, just in case you want to look at them. That being said, notice I'm barring on both of these. And that's fine, but it comes into a few different issues. One is I do just want this to be able to be clean, no matter what, without having to worry about holding that bar down so tight that I'm catching that G string note right there, which is a C. Or down here with that bar, you don't play the A string note, so you're not playing that particular C note there. So it's really easy if you're finger picking, because you can choose what you're going to play. But the second you pick up a pick or start strumming, now you're either going to include that C or you're going to lose the F on that D string that you're supposed to be playing. So how do I fix that? Well, I learned how to create these chords or finger these chords without the bar. And the way that I do that on this is just like so. So I have, instead of barring across to get the A and the G string, I'm using my index and middle finger to cover those two. My ring finger is going to the F note on the B string, and then I'm using my pinky to catch that 7th fret on the D string, which is neck. So I have this muscle memory. This is not. As you notice, I have to look and make sure I'm in the right spot and get everything down right. So how do we fix that? Well, we're going to cover that here in just a minute, but let me show you the other chord. The other one is down here, and like I said, I play it like this normally. But the second you put that pick in there, I'm either hitting too many notes or not enough. So with this, I have to change that. Instead of barring across, my index is going to go on that. And then my other 3 fingers, if you note up here, when I was barring, makes a D shape. Same shape as we were doing for D. However, I've made that shape with these 3 fingers now. Over here on the 3rd and 4th frets of the G, or the D, G, and B string. And then hit that G there. So it looks like this. And note, I can strum that, and it's hitting just those 4 notes that I want. So how do you get your fingers to want to go to those spots? Well, in the previous episode, I talked about hopping, and what I meant by that was, but that's real easy for someone to say when they've got that shape already programmed into their fingers. So I've devised a way for you to learn that will help accelerate that. The first thing you want to do is figure out the shapes within, and I've kind of already alluded to this. So the first shape that I have here, we'll go to that root 5th first, is where I skip that string right there and put those down. Now that's a pretty easy shape to make and to move around wherever I want. So I'm not really too worried about that shape. The other one though, which my fingers already don't want to go to it, is hitting the 6th or the B string and then that D string. Now they don't want to do that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit here and just practice watching and practicing moving my fingers up and down. I'm not playing with my right hand, obviously. I'm just moving them and then moving to a different spot. You know what? Something that helps out when you're just learning the shape, switch the strings. Let's do this same shape, just let's do it on the E and D string. Okay, move it, cool. Now let's go back to exactly where we were to begin with. See, it was a little harder, but it's getting there. So that's the first thing you do. Then you incorporate the rest of it. And one of the things you can do is always try to put down the portion that is giving you the most trouble first when you're making the chord, because the other portion is easy. And then just practice up, down, bring it out, let go, back down. And just do that a few times. Now once you get that chord down-ish to where you're like, it's about that fast without really thinking about it too much, which I have to still think about this. Then just start throwing it into chord progressions, simple ones, or just start moving it. The idea is to get your hand that muscle memory, not necessarily to play musically. You're also not worrying about rhythm at this time. This is just teaching the muscles and tendons and your fingers where to go. That's your focus here. Now, that other one, kind of the same thing, so we'll kind of go through it a little bit faster. So I already know that I have this. That's going to be easy. What I have to train is these three fingers to make a shape that these three fingers always make. And that's that D shape, that little inverted triangle, right? So I can do that here. One of the things that I'm started to do is to start working on playing a D chord with those three fingers so that it will make the transition easier. So that's one thing you can do also. If you see that shape, oh man, I have to play that same shape that, you know, maybe it's an A minor shape, but you have to play it with these three fingers instead of these three like you normally would. Well, start teaching your fingers how to do that. That helps out a lot with bar chords, right? So same thing here. So I can always start playing, you know, if I want to play that intro, I played it wrong. Kind of hard for me because I'm not used to using those fingers, but this is how you learn. It's not always going to be pretty. So with this one, it's just simply learning how to do that, how to get those fingers to go down and sound out. Once I get those ones down, this one's easy. This just falls. It's like, okay, I got that down. Okay, that one just wants to fall right there on that string. So that's how you're learning it. So with this one, you know, I'm just gonna things you're going to be tempted to do is just to slide it to do something similar to this. And you go, oh man, I got it. You don't. You're just sliding. You're holding your hand still. But I'll guarantee you shake it out and then you try to go right back to that chord. I don't have it yet. So it's really integral that you play, lift, reposition, play again. Lift, reposition, play again. Lift, reposition, play again. And that repetition of continuously doing that will eventually get your hands the muscle memory needed to learn the chord. This is a grind. This is one of the unfun things when it comes to learning guitar. I mean, everyone talks about, oh man, I don't want to just sit here and practice, you know, the pentatonic scale. Yeah, that kind of sucks too, but this, learning new chords like that, oh man, it is a bear, but it's one that pays off in the end. All right, guys, that wraps up this lesson on how to be more efficient at learning chords. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to click that like, subscribe, and bell icon so you're notified whenever I come out with new content. Until next time, enjoy your adventure, and I'll see you in Guitarland.